Shawn Soole went from pouring pints to building hospitality empires. In this episode, we talk about chasing passion over titles and what it really takes to build a brand from scratch, and why it never really gets easier, but if you love it, it's always worth it. Pour a Negroni, grab an AHA. This one is for you. Welcome to the Rebel Rebel. This episode of the Rebel Rebel is brought to you by my book, Brand Jitsu. I've spent over 25 years in the trenches helping artists, entrepreneurs, and brands stop being ignored. I took everything I've learned, the wins, the hard lessons, the frameworks that actually work, and I put it into one book. It's called Brand Jitsu, Move Your Brand from Meh to Memorable, and it'll help you tell your story in a way that people actually remember. Get it at your favorite bookstore or visit brandjitsu.com. Welcome to the Rebel Rebel. I'm your host, Michael Dargie, and somewhere across the world from me, we're going to find out where. Please welcome Shawn Soole. How the hell are you, sir?
Very good. Thank you for having me, sir.
Where are you in the world, Shawn?
Right now, I'm in my office in Victoria, BC.
I love Victoria, BC.
Yeah, everybody's starting to get snow, and weird, like at least a month and a half, 2 months before we even think about a whisper of snow in this area.
Yeah. I have family on the island. My folks are up in Sydney. My sister's down in Oak Bay, and I get the whole pictures like January, February when it's like the blossoms and like you have the color green.
Yeah, or we get the blossoms and snow at the exact same time, which is like the blossoms go, and then 2 days later we get a snow dump, and it's just like this really weird sort of dichotomy. Cool.
Yeah. Have you always lived there?
I've been here for 20 years next year. So I've always been a Victoria born and bred, and my wife is like, well, I've been here since I'm not from Victoria. My ex.
I was going to say, wait a sec.
My wife is born and bred Victorian. And so, I met my wife just after I got here, about 6 months after I got here. And I, like you said, you get the pictures. I fell in love with the city. I'm so close to everything. I can still go to Toronto in a couple of hours. I can still go to Calgary and Edmonton in a couple of hours. I can go to Europe and like from Vancouver Airport in 8. So it's sort of like, well, you can have a pretty good lifestyle here and still be close to everything.
Well, so what is it, just to catch us up, what is it that you do in the world?
I am a hospitality consultant is, I suppose, the easiest like box to put me into.
And I'm sorry, but like, I love that, but what does that mean?
I'm a little bit different to a lot of other hospitality consultants because usually you get into it as a bartender, like you start doing cocktail menus and you start doing little training and beverages. So I started doing that, but then I've expanded over the years to HR management, training schedules for like a long-term training for long-term staff, branding and like creative and stuff, and sort of like polishing up brands and stuff like that. So I'm working on a couple of brands. I'm sort of refocusing and polishing up their brand that's been around for about 10, 15 years. So, I always say if you can put your idea on a napkin, I can take it from a napkin idea all the way through to a year after you open.
So cool.
So yeah, interior design, like I'm literally, when I finish up this podcast, I'm going to measure up a space to do all new stainless steel for the bar area. So yeah, everything in between.
Oh my God. I guess the question is, did you have to do that when you were little? Were you like, oh, that's what I have to do when I grow up? Or were you like, I want to be a fireman?
I actually left high school with a scholarship to do advanced psychology in university.
What?
And I felt a little burnt out after high school. I worked full time with my parents' company through high school.
Okay.
Got the scholarship, and I was like, I just want a year off. And that year off has turned into almost 30 years in the hospitality industry. So it's like I took a year off, got into hospitality just randomly at a hotel, and then it sort of played out from there. And then you fall in love with the flexibility and the awesomeness that the hospitality industry gives you. And next thing you know, you're sort of building a personal brand that leads to company and that sort of thing.
Okay, so just because you mentioned it, like, how easy was it? Like, why come to Canada from Australia, other than the fact that we're brothers from another mother?
Originally, it was for a girl. That only lasted like 3 or 4 months, and then 3 or 4 months later, I met my wife.
Mm-hmm.
Originally, it was for a girl, but it just sort of, I don't know. I think at the time I was like 25, and I just had done a lot in Australia. and I had never traveled because I'd worked so hard. Like, I started working full time when I was 13 and a half years old. And
Man.
like I worked full time plus going to school, and I did very well at school. Obviously, to get a scholarship and that sort of thing. But then I was like, I'd worked so long and so hard. And so when I came to Canada, all of a sudden I was like, oh, okay, well, I always say I matured here in Canada into an adult, whereas I was still like a young adult in Australia, just partying and I still work 60-hour weeks, but you'd be partying with your boys till 4 o'clock in the morning at the same time. So I feel like when I came to Canada, I matured into what I suppose I was meant to become.
Okay, so the huge silence there, but the did you when you were little, what did you want to be?
Man, you're asking some deep questions here right now. Like
I know, that's what I do.
I I my dad was ex-military. My dad was a truck driver. When I was 13, we started a landscaping company. So I was landscaping for a lot of times. I landscaped on and off during my hospitality early years, as well as like, so I'd work during the day as a landscaper, then go work night sides at a pub. And so that sort of like bounced back and forth as well. I didn't really ever have something that I was like, what did I want to be? It
Okay,
was never something that like it is very old school mentality. Is like you do what your parents do, and
sure. Yeah,
that's what
the
you
Thatcher's the
exactly.
sure.
You do what your parents do, and that's what you do really well. And so that's sort of what I wanted to do. And then it was hospitality that sort of opened my eyes. Like, I come from a big family. My mum was not a great cook, so I've never was never exposed to like good food or like
Oh
cocktail
no,
wine.
what's your
Like,
mom's name?
oh, I'm not going to say that out loud.
But I'm sure she's a great cook.
Well, she had to feed 6 kids, and
Yeah.
we're all 18 months apart. So three of us were going like in different stages of puberty at a good time. And so, like, five boys eating as much as you eat as a teenager, like, she did her very best at what she did.
Yeah, yeah. I
It
just
wasn't,
want to give a shout out to your mom because I think she's probably an amazing cook.
but so I wasn't exposed to like this sort of high level of food and drink growing up.
Oh,
Those
okay.
romantic stories that you hear from like other people, I'm third generation bartender, or like my
Sure.
dad owned a bar. Like, I literally fell into it, and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like, I started serving weddings and pouring pints, and I was like, oh, you get to, this is kind of fun. And that's where it sort of hooked me.
Oh, it's amazing. Do you find that so you've been here what 20 years,
Hmm.
Canada? Um this is such a stupid question, but I'm going to ask it. Does your accent help?
When I first came here, I think I did. Um,
Okay.
So I felt like Superman, because like if you're in Australia, you walk down the street and you say g'day, and everybody says g'day. But when
Right.
you get to a small market like Victoria, I only met a couple of Australians during the years, even over the last 20 years. And so you kind of feel like Superman. You walk down the street and you go g'day, and everybody's like, oh my god, you're completely unique. And so I think I think my accent's definitely helped. I My wife doesn't hear it so much anymore, but my daughter doesn't hear it at all. Like, when her friends tell her that your dad sounds funny, she's like, "What are you talking about, you weirdo?" My dad,
Does she have an accent? Does she have a wee accent?
no, she's 100% Canadian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
do you
yeah,
go
a little bit.
do you go back?
Unfortunately, I've never actually been back to Australia.
Oh my
Even
gosh.
Singapore in 2019, I contemplated going back because it's a quick flight.
Yeah.
Uh, but I was super busy doing like my projects in Singapore. So like, when I had the opportunity to go back, I literally only needed to go away for like 2 days, 48 hours to reset my visa so I
Yep.
could go to Singapore. And I was like, do I want to go all the way to Australia, which is still a hike from Singapore, or do I just want to jump upon and go to Bangkok and go hang out in Bangkok for 36 hours and come back because I've got work to do? So I went to Bangkok instead.
Do you miss where you grew up?
To a degree. Again, like, I feel like I've still got friends back there. I still talk to them on a regular basis, but like, um, again, I feel like I matured here into an adult in Canada. So like,
Okay.
my home, I do see Victoria and Canada as my home outside of like Australia. Do I still like Australian sports? Do I like that sort of thing? Yeah, I still. But when I was in Singapore, I was lucky enough that I hung out with enough Australians, which I don't usually do, and got to watch like the State of Origin and some sports and stuff. So that was kind of cool. But for me, growing up the way I grew up, moving a lot, I don't miss things and places because of that. Like, it's just not something that's in me. Like, I miss my wife. I would miss my daughter. That's something natural, but that's also something I've had to like grow into. But missing things and missing people and places has never been something that I'm like aching for. It's sort of like just I always say I wipe my hard drive, so I wipe my hard drive and I just on.
Etch a sketch.
Yeah, exactly. Shake the memories and like then it's put into the back of my head and I can move on.
Ah,
It's
so
a little bit
cool.
of a superpower at times too.
What's like the one thing that you love about where you're at right now? Like and it could be like time, could be place, could be whatever. Like, what's the thing that gets you going?
I feel like I'm lucky enough to know as much as I do that I can help as many people as I possibly can. And I look back at times when I've been consulting now for over 10 years now, like
It's
proper
huge.
a proper job. Um, and I look back at what I was doing 10 years ago and I'm like, I was good. I thought I was way better than what I was 10 years ago. But
Yeah.
um, I picked up things along the way. Like I went back to school. I went back to school in 2018 and was like, why? And I was like, and it was for a hospitality like diploma. But I learned a ton about it, more about accounting and more about HR. So I was like, if I pull 1 to 5% more information out of that course than I knew, then that's a win. And that's why I still do certifications on spirits and stuff. Like I know all the stuff that when it comes to a spirit, but like if I do a certification and pick up 1% more, that's 1% more than I had before. And so I try and push myself for that.
What do you think is the next big thing for you? Like, where do you take this next?
I am probably working on something that's going to be my own, which is quite big, and that's taken a little bit longer than I'd like it to.
Okay.
But I'm also picking up a lot more work as a consultant than I probably have before, I suppose, to a degree. But much more different work. Like people aren't sort of pigeonholing me as the cocktail guy anymore, which was something that I had struggled with for a long time because it was like, oh, okay, well, you're just going to come in, build a cocktail menu, and do some training. Away you go. But now it's like, okay, well, I'm doing a brand refresh. What's the brand voice? How are you going to sort of pitch that? I've got a multi-unit client who's got 3 locations. Locations are doing really, really well, but they're not really cohesive together. So I'm working on more like cohesion between the 3 groups. And so for me, I do love that dopamine hit of opening something new. Like it really is like a talk to a therapist about this, and it's just like, well, why do you do that? It's like, well, because that napkin to the full idea, that's a huge dopamine hit. And
Sure.
now I try to figure out how to balance that out so I'm not always chasing that next dopamine hit. So I try like be in the moment a little bit more. So but the future for me is like I'd love to keep helping people. I'm getting back into speaking a lot. Mm, The speaking side of things has been something I've taken a bit of a break on for the last little while. So I'm
Okay.
speaking about more stuff outside of just spirit driven stuff. So like HR turn and burn stuff and mental health and that sort of thing. So like I'm building up 2026 is going to be sort of an expansion of where I felt like I was in 2019 before the pandemic because I was really like on fire in 2019
Yeah.
and then just got back from Singapore a couple of months off, was getting my 2020 set up and then lost a bunch of contracts in Southeast Asia that I had lined up and so I feel like I'm getting back to the hot iron that I was in 2019.
Oh, good man. Oh fuck. Like, oh my god. Like the pandemic was a whole thing.
Yeah. It
And
was.
I don't want to talk about it in any other way other than we went through it and a lot of us gave into it and are on the other side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I kept
Um,
busy and I kept building certain like I wrote my third book and a bunch of other stuff during it. So I had a lot of free time because I was stuck at home.
yeah.
Um, but
Okay, so sorry. What was your favorite thing to do at home? Because recently I like became enamored, and this is outside of the pandemic, with actually doing sourdough.
oh, you went the sourdough route to everybody else.
No, I didn't do it during the pandemic. It's just now. Now I'm just like, oh my god, I got to make sourdough. So what's your thing?
To be honest, was carving out time for my family because before the pandemic, um, not that they were secondary. My wife would probably disagree with me when I say that they were secondary, but like it was something that was like, okay, I'm going to Singapore for 3 months. I didn't see my family for 3 months. It
Oh
was
my god.
so then I came back for a month. And the first week and the last week of that month, I was away in Toronto and Montreal. So like they originally had 2 weeks with me. And then I literally flew back from Toronto and Montreal at the end of that month and swapped up my bag and flew out to Singapore for another 3 months.
Oh
And
my
so it was something that like I was like, I need to do this as for my career, that sort of thing. And then the pandemic rolls around, all of a sudden you're forced into it. And my relationship with my daughter got very strong. My relationship with my wife was always strong, but it just got stronger and deeper. And to keep myself busy, I did. We have a very burgeoning craft spirit movement here in BC. There's 85 distilleries, I think, still kicking around. But during the pandemic, I did a spirit a day. So I did a tasting show every single day for a year.
How's your liver?
Yeah, for a it was much better. It was much better doing the once a day things than like one spirit one day, because before that, before the pandemic hit, I was doing like categories of spirits. So I'd sit down and like, okay, we're gonna do brandies, and I have 14 brandies in front of me.
My
That
God.
episode I actually to retape because I remember very distinctly. I walked upstairs and I was like, I don't think at the end of that episode I was at my peak. So I split it up. It was like, okay, we're going to talk about grape brandies and then we'll talk about fruit brandies in two separate episodes.
Oh my God.
So that I'm not drinking 14 ounces of spirit. And it's not like, measured ounce, it's more like 14 pours.
Something's.
So
Yeah.
ounce and a half, depending on if I like the product or not. So yeah, during the pandemic, that's what I sort of focused on, was that craft movement. And then I did a little bit of consulting during the pandemic with bars and restaurants and refreshing.
So, Shawn, what do you want to be remembered for?
I hope that I leave the industry better than what it was when I got into it. I harp on that quite a bit. In 2026, I'm going to harp on it a lot more. I think we've put ourselves in a position where we talk about like staff shortages and stuff like that. I'm like, yes, but we've sort of built the staff shortage out in ourselves because we keep forcing these workloads on this next generation that are not good. They're
Yeah.
not easy for anybody. And so that's what I hope. I hope that I leave the industry better than when it was when I got into it. And that people can see and go, okay, well, that's why that staff team there stays so long in that venue, because they're so well looked after, because I had something to do with it.
Deeper cut. Like, what do you, Shawn Soole, want to be remembered for that maybe isn't industry? It's Shawn. Like, what mark do you want to leave?
So you're getting even deeper again.
I know.
Like, you're killing me, because like the industry is so tied into, I suppose, who I am.
Sure.
It's really tough to separate that. I suppose on a personal level, that I wasn't as mean as everybody thought I was. I think that's a big one, because I am 6'5" and 6'5", 6'6", and like 300. So I'm an ominous figure, and
I'd give you a hug.
yeah, I've had some photos. I've been posting funny photos on Instagram about like my resting bitch face.
Yeah.
And especially when I'm like trying to really concentrate and learn, I'm like, if I look like that on a regular basis when I'm walking down the street, no wonder people are scared to come up to me and say hi. So I hope that I give more than I asked for in return.
Let's just say you're walking down the waterfront and you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, like what would the world need to know right now? Like, what's the one thing that I wish the world knew? Shawn, what do you wish the world knew about anything?
That you can make a lot of money from your passion.
Okay. I love it. That's new.
You can there's niches for everything in this day and age. And while you think that your passion is very niche, there's always people out there that are gonna like need more experience and will pay you for it and that sort of thing. And you can really monetize your passion, regardless of what it is. As you were saying, like sourdough. Like in this day and age, if you really want to be creative, you can do a sourdough channel. Walk in the You'll get followers. You'll have people.
Yes, you will.
And so don't assume that just because you're passionate about something that you can't make a living off that. Because I've been lucky enough that I've let my passion guide me a lot.
Mhm.
But there's so many people out there that are sitting in an office who hate their jobs, hate them, and they can't wait to leave work and go home and do sourdough starters. Like this is massive example, or Lego or video games. There's just you can, if you want to put time and effort into it, you can make money from your passion.
Love it. That painting over your left shoulder.
This one,
Yeah, what is it?
this one is kind of crazy. This is one of my like latest acquisitions. I'm not an art guy. Like I found this piece on the side of the road, which I just love.
Wow. Amazing.
This one, I was living in Vancouver at the time, and there was like a brick and brack store across the street in Chinatown. So it was like classic Vancouver Chinatown.
Yeah.
And I was like, I kept walking past it day after day. And I'm like, I really just love that piece. Like, it's $30. I'm just gonna buy it. $30.
Yeah.
So I pick it up, take it back to my hotel room. Notice that my hotel room, my apartment at the time, and notice the signature at the bottom. So I started researching the signature, and it turns out it's from a Ukrainian-born Vancouver artist called Yuri Podell. He passed away a few years ago, but his style is very unique,
Yeah.
and that painting is worth about $3,500.
Oh, fuck.
So I was like, oh, holy shit. I picked it up for $30, and it just sung with me. So I put it up in my office when I took back over my office from my daughter. But it just sung with me, and I went back to the brick and brack store. I was like, "Do you have anything else like that one I paint in the background in the back that you might have the same?" And she's like, "You paid $30 for $100 painting. Go away." And I'm like, "Okay, problems.
Yeah.
I'm not going to push the fact. I wasn't going to like show my hand and say, hey, do you any more? You're
Oh my God.
around in the back there." But yeah, one that I was just like, I was blown away when I found out how much that was worth.
Yeah, it's so cool. Like it's one of those things. If you're not, watching on YouTube, you should go to YouTube and check it out because it's fucking dramatic.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah. Oh my God. What's your favorite book to read? I see you've got like bookshelves behind you. Like, what's your thing?
Most of those are my cocktail books. So
Okay. Like you're in it to win it.
oh yeah, I always say there's about 500 cocktail books in Australia that will never make it over here because it'll just cost me a fortune to bring over. My favorite, like I'm not a massive like reader. I can't sit down and like just be quiet. Just my brain doesn't let me do that. But I do listen to a lot of audiobooks when I'm on my walks and stuff. So like
Yeah.
I've gone through on Unreasonable Hospitality by Will Jadera, a lot of Simon Sinek books as well, because like his work is just amazing. So I've been building this sort of audio library that I'm going to roll out to my next client's management team. So the whole management team will have to listen to one audiobook a week that'll, and it's not necessarily always just hospitality, but it's definitely like lining up with like dealing with guests, building relationships. Why are you doing this? Because yeah, brand jiu-jitsu. If you got an audiobook, I'm listening to it. So right now I'm just going through my Gary V library as well because I'm
Yeah.
massive into Gary V and just that sort of thing. So those are the sort of books I listen to. These ones are all like reference books. So
Oh.
just recently, a friend of mine reached out on Threads just openly and was just like, "Does anyone have an original copy of David Embry that he can look up this cocktail?" And I was like, "I don't have my original. My original's kicking around here somewhere. I have my 1961 copy, and I literally took a photo of the recipe he was chasing and put it up on Threads."
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a cocktail nerd when it comes to history and stuff.
I love that your bookshelf is bent.
It's just stacked,
Like
right?
I fucking love that. Like it's so good.
And these aren't all of them. I've got another in my basement. I've got another bunch that I've got to figure out how I'm going to fit this into the space.
Oh my
I've got a
God.
whole bunch more books that I reference them on a regular basis, like when I'm doing training and stuff like that. Is something that I always stick back to.
Love it. What's your favorite cocktail?
Negroni.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm literally known for my Negronis, like how much I enjoy Negronis.
Okay. Why? And I only ask because Negronis are my least favorite.
Um, I think it was that I don't know when it started as my favorite. But I was just fascinated with the Negroni family. So
Yeah.
he's like the Boulevardier, the Old Pal. So the Negroni family is this sort of like very intricate, fun. And I get a lot of people don't like the Campari bitterness.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing my very first bottle of Campari and taste my very first bottle of Campari at like 21 years old, and I'm going, who would drink this?
Oh my God.
But it just became a favorite, and I started exploring that, and I had it on menus, and then I started realizing other people liked it, and I was like, oh, okay, well, people like the Negroni at Clive's is still to this day the biggest selling cocktail year over year.
Yeah.
We have it on tap every year. It is the biggest selling cocktail. So other people like Negronis just as much. But yeah, Negronis are my go to. It's my go to drink.
Well, okay. What's your guilty pleasure cocktail? The one that you don't tell people about.
Cream liqueur and coffee. Completely okay with like blowing that one. Like cream liqueur and coffee, especially this time when it starts getting cold.
Yeah.
Like a Baileys or a 40 cream and coffee.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Just when it starts to get cold.
Yeah, just like I don't drink any other time of the year. It's Christmas time. It's around that Christmas time. Cream liqueur and coffee is the way to go.
Have you ever chopped down a tree?
Yes.
Canada or Australia?
Both.
Oh, nice.
I grew up in the country, so like I didn't wear shoes properly till I was like 17, 18 years old.
All right.
So like you'd wear shoes to school, you take shoes off, you play sport all day, you put your shoes back on, go to class, lunch, shoes are off. As soon as you get in the car, shoes are off. Running around barefoot. So like the barefoot country thing that you can think the stereotype of Australians,
Yeah.
that was me. That was me growing up. So climbing trees, cutting down trees, all that sort of stuff. Very easy thing to do.
All right. What are you least allergic to?
Oh, what am I least allergic to?
Yeah, it's the first time I've ever asked it.
Well, unfortunately, I am a celiac, which was a 40th birthday present for me.
Yay.
It was fantastic. I don't know what I'm least allergic to.
Like, how about venom? Like, because you're Australian, like, are you like you like whatever scorpions, whatever?
I can take a snake bite. No, I'm not. I'm not least allergic to anything. It's just I like I've killed snakes and been around venomous snakes as a kid. So like I
Sharks,
sort of built up. I grew up in the country, so like the sea was something that was like
spiders.
occasion. Yeah, spiders, snakes, those sort of things, all super easy to get around. They're more scared of you than you are of them.
Okay, all right, good to know. All right, so imagine you're going down to the beach in Oak Bay, and you're just like your toes are digging into the sand, and there's like one little seal that's like doing the thing out in the bay there, and you're sitting there thinking to yourself, oh man, I wish the world knew this one thing. What is the one thing, Shawn, that you wish the world knew?
Then you just need to stop and be happy. Like you were talking about, like digging your feet in the sand.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. The beach is, because like again, growing up in the country, I did live by the sea a couple of times, but my old man would just sit on the beach and dig his toe, and he'd just disappear. He would just be at peace at that spot. And I think in a world where we've got so much everything all the time, we're plugged in and jacked up. It is like the Matrix. Finding somewhere where you have peace and happiness in a space is something I think that more people, if they knew that they could find that somewhere, and to find it and to seek it out, would make everybody a little bit happier.
Love it. What do you do that nobody else does?
What do I do that nobody else does? Um, I I feel like I'm always going to be the person who's going to work a lot longer and a lot harder than a lot of other people. Like, if you're going to go toe to toe in the hospitality space and do everything you can possibly do for the hospitality space, you need to understand that I'm probably going to put in longer hours and work a little bit harder and leverage a lot more. Not saying that I'm better. It's just I just don't have an off switch, and that is sitting on my couch watching a movie with my wife, but still being on my phone, which she hates, and leveraging social media as much as I can, or answering emails, or getting that sort of thing. I think that's the big win for me, is that I'm always gonna go one step further, one step harder.
What's the one thing that you do for you? Like if we forget that other stuff? What's the thing that you do for Shawn?
I try to, if I had a great week, if I've had a really enjoyable week, I try and smoke a cigar. Sit by the fire in my backyard, have a cigar. That is my that is my thing.
Uh-huh.
That's my me time. That's my reward for myself.
Love it. Do you have a favorite cigar?
Prefer Nicaraguans.
Okay.
Everything. It's more my style. I like a nice medium body. I'm not a massive Maduro fan.
Yeah.
But I like a nice light to medium body Nicaraguan, and I will sit there and smoke it for 3 or 4 hours and just relax.
Do you have like a scotch you have with it, or
I'm a bourbon man.
wow?
Yeah. I
How hard is it to be a bourbon man right now?
up in BC, but you can still get some really good stuff.
Good.
You can still get some really good stuff, and so I always said that I sell scotch for a living, but I drink bourbon at home because I that is where my most of my sales have ever come from is scotch. But bourbon is my drink of choice.
Amazing. What is so? There's these people in the world, Shawn, that are we call them rebels in waiting, and they're like these people that are just like launching out into their own thing. Maybe they're, I don't know, like maybe they came to Canada, maybe they're stopped doing what they were doing and they're doing something new. What's your advice to them to help them get to where they're going?
It's gonna suck before it gets better, and that's the honest truth. As soon as you think you've hit a milestone that's gonna make everything easier,
Mm.
it's still gonna be work. Next milestone you hit, it's still gonna be work.
Mm.
And if you're super passionate about something and that's what you want in your life, and you're happy with doing it, and you can make that passion a happiness, it's still going to be work. Like I've been doing this for 30 years, and every year I think, okay, well, this is my year. It's going to get easier. After I wrote my first book, oh, it's going to be so much easier now. Like getting picked up for speaking gigs and doing this. I wrote my second book. Oh, it'll be so much easier. Any sort of like massive milestone, I'm like, it's not going to be. I'm waking up the next morning, and it's still going to be the same amount of work. And it's still going to be hard, and it's going to be a grind. And if you're in love with the grind and you love the passion of what you're doing, it won't feel like work, but it's also always going to be a challenge. If you're pushing yourself outside of your comfortability and your limits, it's always going to be work.
Do you have a favorite beard oil?
Favorite beard oil? I'm not a fan of beard oils. I actually use like a mousse, like a beard balm. So
Oh,
just
all right. What is it? Like, let's give a shout out because you have a glorious beard, sir.
to be honest, I don't even know the brand. That's horrible to say, but I know the label as soon as I pick it up. But because it is white and gray, it's spindly, and my barber says that white hair don't care. Because regardless of how much I trim it and everything, it just pings out.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I moisturize it every morning, and then that's pretty much it. Like everyone's like, "Oh, what's your regimen?" I'm like, "I don't have a regimen. I have the same product that I've been using for 20 years, and I put the stuff in my hair, I brush it, and I'm out the door." Like, "Oh, what's your regimen?" I'm like, "I don't have a regimen. I don't have time for a regimen. I'm not
Wow.
that fastidious about my looks. I'm like, I put it in, I brush it through, and it's done. I'm out the door."
Oh my God. Shawn, this has been amazing. I love that you don't have a regimen. Like so many people are so particular.
I have things that I do every day, but that's like for food and how I have my coffee and all that sort of stuff. I got enough regimentation in my work life that my personal life, which my wife would probably love a little bit more, is so anti-regimented by the seat of my pants.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for being on the show. This has been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me. It's been great.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode. Hey, if you're an artist, scientist, entrepreneur, or business owner who wants a smooth and proven method to find, shape, and share your story with the world, head on over to brandjitsu.com and order a copy of my book, Brand Jitsu, Move Your Brand from Meh to Memorable. I've been your host, Michael Dargie, and this has been the RebelREbel podcast. It's a podcast for creative rebels and entrepreneurs all over the world. And hey, if you're a rebel or you know a rebel, head on over to the RebelREbelpodcast.com and fill out the guest request form. Thanks so much for listening. Until next time.